What is going on, guys? Trump indicted again. This is the Sarah Palin playbook all over again. So if you guys remember the Sarah Palin saga from, I guess, what was it, 08? 07 was the start of the campaigns, right? But then the vice presidents came in 08. And, during that year, Sarah Palin really was kind of taking the Ron Paul fervor and taking like libertarians and people that were sticking it to the government really kind of pre-Trump and pre-Romney, actually. What people don't remember either is Romney had the Trump crowds before Trump had them. Romney had massive crowds, even though he's a rhino and he really isn't worth his salt at all, and doesn't stand for freedom. He was getting 20,000 person crowds, and that's really truly 0809 is when I saw the Uniparty come about. They were taking Sarah Palin and they were putting in her box. John McCain, the ultimate Uniparty guy. I'm both sides, and I'm the rhino, Republican name only. I'm playing both sides and talking out both sides of my mouth. What a terrible candidate for half of the country. And you had Sarah Palin, which was, really, people can say whatever they want about her. I could care less what you think about her. But truthfully, she spoke for the vast majority of people. She just did. That was as evidenced by her literally booing the entire McCain campaign and her being really, whatever you want to call it, populist or whatever, but Trump. She was the original Trump. And saying what was on people's minds and not caring and just saying how it was, and had incredible ratings and favorability in Alaska. And that's a place actually where you think is like completely red, but they actually, they have Lisa Murkowski there. They're actually kind of like all over the place. So that just showed you the popularity of Sarah Palin, someone that was just like down to earth. Hey, I'm a mom, and like, look at me, I'm doing things that are common sense. They're against the one world government agenda. And she got hammered. They had, media came in, like bought the house next to her so they could spy on her through her fence the entire time. They're making fun of her on Saturday Night Live because of, she fell 8 times. Oh no, that's the current guy in office. Because like she was making jokes, and then they were like trying to turn the jokes and like, oh, she's actually going to see Alaska, which you actually can see from Alaska, but that's besides the point. This isn't a Sarah Palin thing. But what they're doing is seeing and being like the Donald Trump thing of seeing, oh my goodness, this is Donald Trump again. The Sarah Palin thing. What they do to her? Well, they put her in a box, the Uniparty, and they covered her up. They didn't let her go on stage. They didn't let her do anything. She was booing the McCain campaign. Like, oh, whoa, we don't want that. We want this other guy, another party that doesn't look like us. We want him to win. So, the media, everyone put her in a box. The McCain campaign, John, you got to put this girl in a box and don't let her come out. So that's where I really woke up and realized, oh my goodness, there's a Uniparty here. We ain't in it. None of us are in it. 70-80% of people aren't in this. And then Romney was really the 20,000 person crowds. Obama was getting nobody. And then that was like, wow. That was a final straw for me. I already kind of had seen it, and I was like, okay, this system's completely broken. 2012 was the complete breakdown of everything for me, and just complete lack of trust of the process, what was actually happening. And so you fast forward to now, into that time period. Sarah Palin actually resigned as governor in Alaska during that next 4 years or so, because they were suing her so much for just random stuff. And again, you can go look at this, trust but verify. Don't take my word for it. Go look, go research all the charges, all the things they were making, all the things they were claiming. They just dropped everything as soon as she resigned. Done. Whatever. We don't care anymore. She resigned because, as most good human beings do, they're like, wow, I'm taking all the taxpayers' money and people that are liberty-minded, libertarian, classical liberal type of people, which is somewhat the modern conservative in a way, not neocons, things like that. But she just is like, yeah, I'm not going to do this because I'm wasting people's time, I'm wasting their money, their resources. And as soon as she resigned, that's what they wanted. They wanted her completely stalled out. And then she resigned and did exactly what they wanted her to do, which they probably never thought would really happen. They just wanted to like annoy her and block everything and just kind of drag her through the mud. Well, then she resigned. They're like, oh, thanks, awesome. And then they just went away, dropped everything. They're doing the same thing to Trump. It's the same playbook. They're doing this over and over and over again. They're hoping that the difference is this isn't a hockey mom from Alaska. They're doing this with a billionaire tycoon who made his way being a smart businessman and a shrewd negotiator and a shrewd flapper of gummers. And they're dealing with a different beast here. And they're trying to use that same playbook of just completely, taking public sentiment to an all-time low, and they're in a way they've won. I mean, there was, even though there's no way to audit the 2020 election because it was completely just farcical, and you got people dropping stuff in drop boxes in ballots, and people getting 5 ballots. I mean, people are like, oh, Brandon, how can you say that, you lunatic? It's like, I know people that literally got multiple ballots sent to them. Like, I literally saw them with my own eyes. Multiple ballots, dead people ballots. This is a classic thing. I mean, this is not the only election that has happened. This has happened so many times. So people like sit here and they're like, oh, how do you know? Blah, blah, blah. I feel like Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian, like, oh, blah, blah, just word vomit coming out of people's mouths. And you mention, this is literally no credibility to this election. And their brains explode. And so they did drop some of the sentiment, though, with Trump. Like there was certain segments of the population that were so sick of hearing about Trump, they just like wanted it out of their head. And that's exactly what the one girl, you read Committee of 300, Conspirator's Hierarchy, and some of these books, they talk about that one of the strategies is confusing and making you so annoyed with the process that you quit. That is the process. I just talked to one of my family members this weekend. They said, well, they got me because I'm sick of hearing about them. I'm sick of just politics in general because they're just so annoying. I just don't even want to be involved. Well, congratulations. Now you're going to be governed by your inferiors, as Plato warned us. And Jeremy, yes, I believe I did say Franklin before in one of the videos, Ben Franklin. I thought Ben Franklin said it, but maybe he was just regurgitating what apparently Plato said. So if you aren't involved in politics, you will be governed by your inferiors. So we, as libertarian, as conservative, which I think 90% of people truly are libertarian. Most people just don't know it. They're liberty-minded. They want to just be left alone. They want to leave other people alone too. Just get out of my life, government. Minimize government to its very essence, very basic minimalist level, and that's it. And if you had good, sane people, then this would work very easily, right? I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what kind of world we live in right now. As Ronald Reagan said, if man can govern himself and be responsible and accountable himself, then who among us can govern all of this, right? So at the end of the day, they're playing the Sarah Palin playbook. They're trying to Palin Trump, trying to make it so annoying that people just quit, they go away, or he quits. He gives up. He says, you know what? I've taken too much time of the American people. I've taken too much money and resources. And right now, for the most part, he's spending his own money, right? But he was during the election, or when he was president, he was spending the American person's money and trying to combat these people. And that were just this completely propped up. If they had something on Trump, don't you think we would have found it over the last 6-7 years, right? And then everything they blame on him and indict him for is the exact thing that's going on, right? It's equal and opposite reaction, right? There's a law of polarity. If you're blaming in projection, if you're blaming someone else from something, there's a pretty good chance that human is doing that very thing themselves, because that's what they see. That's what they're paranoid about. So that's why you have the Hillary email lady, we got Hunter Biden, like all these things that they have done themselves, they project onto Donald Trump and say, oh, that's what he's doing. His sons are doing this with Russia and China, whatever. And well, that's what Hunter Biden is doing. Oh, he's got documents everywhere. Well, we know that Joe's hiding them in his Corvette, and email lady had all this stuff going on, right? So you have to be able to understand the cognitive dissonance here, but more importantly, just see what's going on. Have a memory, right? So part of the 6 higher faculties that we talked about in our other video is all the 6 higher faculties that people just don't use anymore. Will, memory, perception, reason, imagination, and intuition. You have to be able to use those. If you can't, as a human being, you are screwed. You are absolutely screwed. So how can we combat the noise and the stress and anxiety of what's going on in the world and social media and all the craziness? It's using our higher faculties. It's decompressing. It's reducing stress and noise and pressure and noise. It's meditating. It's praying. It's getting out above yourself, being in the zone and removing the clutter from your brain. That's what my hope is, that we continue to drive these points home more and more so we can be prepared for what's coming. The mental warfare, the psychological warfare, the cultural war, the biological war, the nuclear war, all the things that are here and coming. Yes, coming, absolutely. Famines, the things that have been tried and done in the past. These things are here. Empty shelves we've seen in the last 3 years. This is going to happen more and more. It's okay. It is okay, though. Embrace that. Embrace the suck and be ready for it. Be prepared so that way you can be thriving and you and your family can be thriving in the suckiness. Life's all about suckiness. Have you noticed that? Life's about suckiness. Humans, we try to minimize everything and have no suckiness in our lives, but then there's no joy because we have no suckiness. We have to embrace that suck and be ready for it and be prepared for it so we can thrive in the future. So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share this out. I beg you to share this out because the algorithm hates truth, hates talking about any of these things. And we are our only hope for getting truth and reality out to the people. That is it. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. Question everything with boldness, question everything I say. Trust but verify, even the existence of God himself. I appreciate you more than you know. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.